Hey Bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today I'm super excited to share these beautiful bars of soap with you. These are lemongrass gradient bars, and this was my first ever attempt at doing sort of a gradient pour, and I'm so in love with how it turned out, and I really can't wait to keep playing with this technique in the future. As you can probably guess from the name, these are lemongrass themed bars. The visual, I was looking at pictures of lemongrass and they fade from sort of a yellow up to green, and so that is the look that I was going for with the pouring layers, and then the scent, of course, suitably, also lemongrass. The how-to on the gradient isn't hard, but there are just like a couple things you're going to want to pay attention to. Thing number one, you want to make sure that your batter doesn't reach a really thick trace while you're working. So you'll notice that with the fat blend I'm using, which is detailed in the description box below and on the blog, there's a lot of liquid oils in there because we want this to have quite a lot of movement to it. I also didn't do a water discount because, again, we're going to want that movement and we're going to want it for a good long period of time. The general gist of it is that we bring our batter to a light trace, add the essential oils, and then we're going to pour kind of layer after layer, adding a little bit of the green pigment between each addition of a layer. And so the bulk batch of batter that we're using is getting greener and greener and greener in a very linear way. We're not trying to match and then go greener. It's like, well, it's already matched, so let's just make it greener. And then pouring another layer and another layer. You want to make sure you have just kind of everything, mise en place, have everything in place and ready for you so that you're not kind of faffing around going, oh shoot, I need to mix up more of the color mixture, or shoot, where's my pouring, what's it? Make sure you just have everything there so that you don't have a period of time where you're off trying to do something else in a panic and your batter's going to thicken up on you, giving you more defined layers. We don't want that. I'm not really sure what else there is to say about these bars. This is a fun technique. I love how it turned out and I can't wait to share it with you. So come on, let's dive in. All right, let's make some soap. So before we dive in, I'll just do a quick overview of everything in my workspace. So here I have my pot of oils. Everything has been melted and cooled to just a little warmer than room temperature. We have our sodium hydroxide solution, no water discount, and 5% superfat. Immersion blender, got our pigment. So this is a blend of green chromium oxide and yellow lake to kind of give a yellowy green. Got some kaolin clay. We have our essential oil, lemongrass, and I have my mold just off to the side over here, lined with parchment paper. And then just over here I've got a stack of right there paper towels, always useful. So I'm going to begin by blending our clay into our fats. Okay, so once the clay is all incorporated and there's no clumps, we can add our sodium hydroxide solution. And just a reminder that if you are looking for the details on this recipe, so what the fat blend is and the amounts of my add-ins, please check the description box below this video or check it out on my blog on humblebeeandme.com. That is also linked in the description box below the video to make your life as easy as possible. So yeah, that's where all that stuff is. So we're going to add our sodium hydroxide solution and bring this to a light trace. We're now at trace, so I'm going to blend in our essential oil. So I'm going to pour our first layer now, and then we can start incorporating bits of green. So in the interests of a better and easier pour, I'm just going to transfer some of the batter into a smaller container with a pour spout so I can have a bit more control over it, because it's a little harder to pour out of that thing, obviously. And then just kind of gently pouring over here. I am not at all expecting this to form distinct layers. I'm going for more of a kind of gradient-y kind of look, so we're going to be going for pretty subtle color differences between the layers. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that to set up a bit for about 20 minutes or so and then come back and do some fancy stuff with the top. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes and so we should have enough kind of viscosity, to do something with the top. So I wanna kind of sculpt it up a bit and then I wanna dust it with some gold mica. All right, so now all that's left to do is to leave it to saponify for a day or two and then slice it up. And I can't wait to see how that pour turned out. All right, so it has been about 48 hours since I poured this soap. So I'm going to unmold it now and slice it up. I'm really excited to see how that coloring turned out. We do have a little bit of cracking on the top, kind of in the center here, but nothing too crazy. So I'm going to start by disassembling the mold and taking the loaf out, and then we can slice it up and see how it turned out. And there we are. I am so happy with how this gradient pattern turned out, especially considering this was my first time trying it. It's really neat to see how it varies through the bars as well, depending on kind of how far the next layers push down the previous layers. We kind of have some with like higher yellow sides and some with kind of lower yellow sides. It's very cool. I'm really, really happy with this. So these bars were really very soft, very, very easy to slice through. So I would think next time I use this fat blend, I'd probably make a point of waiting at least another day before slicing them, because there's a few here that have a bit of damage just from being handled because they are so soft. So I'm going to leave these to age for probably at least 4 weeks. It's really dry here, so if you live somewhere more humid, you'll probably want to let them age a bit longer. Also love how that top came out. But yeah, so there you go. We just made some gorgeous lemongrass gradient soap. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and please remember to go down to the description box below this video and click through to find this recipe on my blog. That's where you will find everything written out, all the information about the fat blend, the super fat, the additives, the process, where to buy ingredients, what you can use instead of lard or tallow if you don't want to use that, just tons of extra awesome supplementary information. It's really the other half of this video, so please go look at that. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.